Hello.
Good morning.
Hello.
Everyone. Welcome. Let us know in chat if you can hear and see us okay. I'm Abby.
And I'm Becky.
And that's Lauren. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi. I cannot see you guys, but I can hear you.
Uh-oh. That's weird. I see us on ours. Let me remove and come back in. Can you see us now?
I cannot. I don't know if anyone else can, but
Ooh.
I can hear you. I can see your bracelet camera.
Okay.
Yeah, can't see on your phone.
Well, that's so weird. I see us. It looks like Sue says I can see Lauren.
Hi, I'm just having all kinds of issues here. It's all right. I can hear you, so that works.
Oh, that's so strange. Let's start and stop our virtual camera and see if that helps. Does that help? Nope. Well, give us just a second, guys. We're going to go out and come back in. Otherwise, we're just going to flip our hand cam to be our face cam. We're trying something new this time. We are streaming to Instagram too. So I wonder if I set something up not quite right. So give us just a second. We're going to come back out, or we're going to go out and come back in. One sec, guys.
Okay.
And we will come back in.
Noticing all the cool things behind you there, Lauren.
I know there's lots of fun things. So right now I'm at the clubhouse. So there's always either canvases or threads or something fun behind me. So
yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Lots of color and fun things. There you go. I can see you.
Hey, all of us.
Pretty faces.
Let me get everything situated here. All right, so we are here today to talk with our friend Lauren, and Lauren is our guest presenter for the Great Bead Extravaganza Fall Fest coming up this weekend. If you're not sure what the Great Bead Extravaganza Fall Fest is, well, guess what? You are about to find out all the details. We are going to be presenting hour-long free full presentations on jewelry making and other fun craft ideas this weekend, starting Friday night with our preview party, and then hour-long presentations all day long Saturday, all day long Sunday. So we are so lucky to have Lauren of the Needlepoint Clubhouse joining us. Our presentation with Lauren is going to be Sunday at 4:30 Central. Now, you might be wondering, where do I find these presentations? Well, we've got multiple places you can find them. You can find them on YouTube. You can find a link to our YouTube channel, The Great Bead Extravaganza, in the description of this video. Or you can just open up your YouTube app on your phone, type in The Great Bead Extravaganza, and you'll find it. It'll pop right up. Just hit subscribe, and you will be ready to see those presentations. Now, you might be kind of getting a little excited, wanting to find those presentations ahead of time. They're not there yet. They'll be there whenever we go live, so don't you worry. You can also find them on Facebook. So if you are on Facebook, you might be watching on Facebook right now, you will find those presentations on the Great Bead Extravaganza's Facebook page. You will also find those presentations in the group. But also in the group is a lot of fun extra bonus content. So if you are wanting to easily and quickly find those presentations, you will find them on the page, which is linked below. If you want all the extra bonus content, make sure to join the group as well. So Lauren, we are so excited to have you here. We don't know much about needlepoint at all. In fact, in our conversation last night during our stream, we were wondering, this is our first question for you. We were wondering, what is the verb for what you do? Like, is it, we were like needle pointing?
Yeah, needle pointing.
Okay.
Yeah. We know it was just
stitching.
Needlepoint. I'm
a stitcher.
I'm a stitcher. I'm a needle pointer. I guess people say I'm stitching this or I'm needle pointing. Either one, stitching or needle pointing, they both work. Yeah. I had to think about that one for a second.
Yeah, we were talking about you last night and I said needle pointing and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know if that's right.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. You got it right.
Okay, good. That was my number one burning question for you.
Yes.
So
started with the brain buster there. Yeah.
if you don't mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spotlight you, and you can talk a little bit about who you are, where people can find you, and then after that, we'll kind of highlight your hand cam and you can show some examples. Does that work okay?
That sounds great.
Awesome. So here we go.
Yeah, so I'm Lauren DeVous. I am a St. Louis native. I lived in Chicago for many, many years, but I moved back to St. Louis about 3 years ago. And always, my mom's an artist, and so she was always very creative, and crafties were always painting and doing kind of different kinds of creative things my whole life, basically. And it's big in St. Louis to do these little like keychains. I should have grabbed one for your friends when they start driving. So I did that in high school, and kind of didn't pick it up after high school until the fall of 2018. I have a pretty extensive career in retail, and I was doing a bunch of different things, and I was doing a pop-up shop, and a couple doors down from the pop-up shop I was at, there was a needlepoint shop, and I was like, oh, that might be fun to go in there and kind of make something for my mom for Christmas. And I bought a project, and I did it in like a couple days and was hooked, and went in and made my dad a bookmark for the same Christmas. And that was it. I was off to the races. And so I, like I said, lived in Chicago. I was the head of urban retail development for Tide Cleaners. And then during COVID, no one was dry cleaning anything. So I got laid off, and we moved back to St. Louis. And I was friends with Megan Holmes, who owns the Needlepoint Clubhouse. And she was, telling her I was moving back. And she's like, I want to get you in here to teach. So I started teaching a class one morning a week, and then worked 3 days, and then 4 days. And finally I was like, you know what, why don't you hire me full time? So I kind of started as the finishing manager here. So once you needlepoint something, it needs to be finished into something else. Like for instance, I stitched my daughter's stocking. So you stitch the canvas, and then we finish it into the stocking itself. So
Very nice.
So started doing that, and then we started a wholesale line. So now I run that wholesale line and teach a lot of classes and do other fun things. And basically my job is a lot of fun, and any fun thing we dream up, we kind of do it the next minute. So that's kind of a little bit about who I am. I don't know if that answers your questions, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. So if you wanted to see a ton of stuff that you create, would Instagram be the best place to find you?
Yes, Instagram is probably the best place. So I am Sequin Lala Stitches on Instagram. Needlepoint Clubhouse is STL Needlepoint on Instagram. That is where you're really going to see most of it. We do a lot of Instagram lives pretty frequently. I also have a YouTube channel, which is Sequin Lala Stitches on YouTube, where I do a lot of kind of stitching tutorials on there. But yeah, Instagram is the best place. So either Sequin Lala Stitches or STL Needlepoint.
Awesome. So we've got both Sequin Lala Stitches on Instagram and STL Needlepoint on Instagram linked in the description of this video if you're watching YouTube or Facebook. And then on Instagram, if you go to our most recent posts, you'll see that we've tagged Lauren and the Needlepoint Clubhouse several times in some of our most recent posts. So easy to find. So Lauren, what do you have in store for us for the Great Bead Extravaganza Fall Fest presentation?
So I should have mentioned this in the first place. I on needlepoint am a huge beader. I love to put beads on my needlework. It is like, because some needlepointers love it, some people don't. I love it. I'm like the bead queen. That's kind of, I'm like known for loving beads and sparkles. So I am going to on Sunday teach like 3 or 4 different methods of how to bead on needlepoint canvas. There's 2 methods right here on this little tag, which this is kind of what our little kit is going to help you make if you want to do the tag. But so this kind of hot pink beads is called brick beading, and then the lighter pink beads is called tent beading. But I'm also going to show you messy looped beading, which I have a little project here. See that pine cone there?
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to let you know you are only on hand cam now. So we've got your hand cam. Okay. Let me know whenever you would like me to change that.
That's fine. Yeah. So I will also teach. I don't know if you can see, I don't know if that's coming through okay, but the messy looped beading on Sunday, as well as just individual beading, which there's a few different methods of how to do that as well. But an individual bead is where you just put, like one random bead on a canvas. Sorry, I've got too much stuff in my way here. I don't know if you can see these here. these little like kind of icicle beads, or there's beads right here in a line. So there's called lasso beading as well. So just different ways to affix affix beads to your needlepoint canvas.
Very cool. So I see a comment here on Facebook from Blue Wave Creations that says, my sister is a huge cross stitcher. I'll get her on. Well, thank you, Blue Wave Creations. But that brings up another question that we have for you. So the last few weeks, we have been talking to our customers about the presentation that you have coming up. And a couple of them have asked, what is the difference between needlepoint and embroidery and cross stitch? And I did my best to try and explain that. And I also had to verify that my information was correct a couple of times. But do you have a brief explanation for us as to the differences between some of these techniques?
Yes. So they're all needlework. So a lot of people call a needlepoint cross stitch a lot, but there are some key differences. So the first difference with needlepoint, and I'll put this on my hand cam, is so most needlepoint is a hand painted canvas. So you can see this is a canvas. It's not stitched yet. But the design is hand painted on there. So we like to say needlepoint is sort of paint by number, right? Like there's a lot of fun things you can do, but the design is painted on. So that's one difference, because cross stitch is usually blank fabric, right? So it's usually fabric and the patterns are counted. The next big difference is like the mesh. So if you can see this, needlepoint is on a woven mesh. It comes in different sizes, just like how cross stitch fabric does. The two most common in needlepoint are 18 count and 13 count, which means there's 18 stitches per inch or 13 stitches per inch. There's a variety of different ones, but those are the two most common. Whereas cross stitch material comes in like from 14 to 40. A lot of the holes are smaller. There are some counted needlepoint pieces too, but most of them are hand painted. So if you think, I actually have our little book here that's like a font book. That's where I got these letters. But if you look at, let me open up the page of this so you can see what I'm talking about. So a lot of needlepoint is, a lot of cross stitch is just a chart like this. Well, they'll give you a chart and they'll tell you what the colors are. And so you're counting the stitches as you're doing it. Whereas needlepoint, like I said, is mostly hand painted. Embroidery is also on fabric usually. There's a lot of stitches that cross over between all three, that you can do on needlepoint or cross stitch or embroidery. But those are the main differences. Embroidery is sort of like, not always, I was gonna say, so crewel is something else too that's kind of similar between needlepoint and embroidery. Crewel is like sort of like always on top of the canvas. And a lot of embroidery is that way too. Like you don't stab your needle down and come up like you would on needlepoint. Like, so for instance, what I'm talking about is here, like I'm putting my needle down through a hole and then coming back up through a hole. A lot of embroidery is sort of like you're doing it on top of the canvas like this. So there are counted pieces in both. But like I said, most is painted. I think someone said she does both. So yeah, a lot of people start doing one too. So a lot of people start doing cross stitch and then make their way to needlepoint or vice versa. But we primarily focus on needlepoint here, but a lot of the fibers that we sell at the clubhouse and that you use to stitch either cross stitch, embroidery, or needlepoint are the same. So most things that are stranded, and I don't have something right here in my hand, but there's some fibers that are made up of strands, right? Either 6 or 12 that you kind of pull apart, like 1 or 2 strands, or up to 4, 5, 6, depending on what you're doing. I'm gonna have my Vanna White here throw me a stranded thread. Thanks, Angie. So here's a stranded thread, right? So this is one piece that's made up of 6 strands. So depending on your mesh size and your stitch, you might use, like a variety of different strands. So anything stranded like this, you can use on all 3, cross stitch, needlepoint, or embroidery. But then we also have a lot of what we call like cut and go fibers, where like you would just use, like a full thing, that's something that you're not going to take apart. So, and you can see on the back of this, I have a little like blue sparkle. That was just what we call like a cut and go fiber. So I'm not stranding that. But usually stranded threads you can use on all 3, if that makes sense.
It does. So it sounds like needlepoint is going to be a very kind of convenient hobby. It sounds like there's a lot of really cool ways to make what you do easier. So the canvas has the image painted on it for you. so you don't necessarily have to do as much counting. And there's a lot of different products and materials that just really make it a joy to work with, I would imagine.
That's exactly right. And there's definitely, I feel like cross stitch and embroidery are I feel like people usually start with those because they're a little bit more cost effective to start with. Like the fabric is relatively inexpensive. The patterns are relatively inexpensive. Whereas needlepoint, like someone literally hand painted this canvas. So just the labor involved to buy one canvas as opposed to blank fabric is a little bit higher priced. But again, you can do, like I just counted that out myself. So there's lots of ways to do counted needlepoint as well. So, but it's really fun. It's like I said, it is pretty easy to start, and you don't have to think quite as hard with needlepoint. That's for sure.
Love that. So Lauren, would you like to share with us some of the project ideas and products that you're going to be featuring during your presentation?
Sure, I'd be happy to. You want to kind of switch back to my face cam here? Yeah. I think that might be easiest to show. So one of the things we did for this is we made up these like kind of all you need to bead kits. And what you get other than this, nice little storage case here is a blank piece of 8-inch canvas, which is just what I have on my my screen here, what I did. Stretcher bars, which you affix your bars. You fix your canvas to the bars with these tacks, which again, you can see right here. And that just keeps it taut, like almost like how you would think of cross stitch or embroidery with the hoop. This is sort of our version of the hoop. We've got some clear beading thread here, beading needles, my favorite beading needles, as a matter of fact. And this little sticky bead mat, which I'm sure you guys are all familiar with and love. And that's kind of all you need to kind of do this project. We sell this book called The Essentials, which is sort of like a book of all these different fonts. So I just picked a font out of here, made my little letters, and then stitched away. But there's a ton of different things you can do with needlepoint. Like I said, I just grabbed a few things I've stitched and beaded. So this is my daughter's stocking.
Look at that. Oh,
isn't that fun? I really beaded the dickens out of this. You see like the banner is beaded. I beaded these little chandeliers. There's sequins on here. I beaded her name. Like I said, I love to bead, so I do it quite a bit. Isn't that fun? There's I have that 3D house I showed before. These are really fun. Let me see if I can show you these. So these are little little canvases that end up being like a 3D,
like a 3D assembly kind of thing. Like, do you stitch it?
Yeah, and I'll grab for Sunday. I'll grab the canvas to show you what it looks like. But it's like a flat canvas. It almost has like little cutouts that almost looks like little slices almost.
Wow.
And this is like a 3D. A series. So there's like the Papa Snowman, the Mama Snowman, and then the little baby snowman. But you can do ornaments. You can do stand-ups, which are what these are called.
Wow.
I made my little tag. Put that back in the frame here. This is a 2x3, and the reason I made it a 2x3 is because we have these little we call them self-finishing luggage tags. So this is a sticky. You peel off the sticky, cut out your needlepoint. You can stick that right in. We have wallets that do the same thing.
Oh, how cool.
Isn't that fun? And here we go. Michael's makes these really cute little 2x3 frames. So you can frame needlepoint. I mean, there's pillows. You can really do almost anything with your needlepoint. I think people oftentimes think of stockings, pillows, Christmas ornaments, which certainly those are the big three, but you can do belts, you can do straps. Really the sky's the limit. We do a lot of trays. Like you make a canvas like that, put it in an acrylic tray or a wood tray. We do a lot of that. So it's really fun. And yeah, I just saw someone say the luggage tag is a nice gift idea. It really is. And these are really fun. Like I stitched this in like a couple of hours. It did not take me long. And you can put them in these little luggage tags, which come in a million colors. I love this silver one. And it's a really great gift. I also have one of these wallets that I love.
Hand camera.
What's that?
Can you show the luggage tag one more time? I wasn't on your.
Sorry. There's your little luggage tag. So you just kind of cut about 2 or 3 rows past your stitching, peel off this 3M sticky part, and then kind of shove it in there with like either a butter knife, or we use that little like Cricut. If you guys have a Cricut, there's like this tool from the Cricut that almost looks like an icing knife. That's really helpful to like kind of basically just shove your needlepoint in there, and it's a great little gift and not that much time.
That's so awesome. So I linked not only the All You Need to Bead kit in chat for you guys, and I also linked the All You Need to Bead collection that Lauren and her team have put together for you guys. There's a whole collection on needlepointclubhouse.com where you can check out all the products that they recommend using for what Lauren's going to be showing you this weekend during the Great Bead Extravaganza.
That's right. And some fun project ideas too. So you can get the little kit, but there's a million things you can do too.
Very cool. So because we have a handful of people watching now that I'm guessing we're not at the beginning of the stream, we're going to bring everything back on and just kind of give you guys a brief explanation of what we are doing this weekend. So we are here interviewing Lauren because Lauren is our guest presenter for the Great Bead Extravaganza live virtual event this weekend. So this weekend, starting Friday with our preview party, there are it's a weekend full of fun, learning, creativity, education. So we are doing hour-long live streams to the Great Bead Extravaganza Facebook page and the Great Bead Extravaganza YouTube channel. So Lauren is our featured guest presenter. Her presentation is Sunday at 4:30 Central, and she's going to be sharing with us more in-depth kind of beading techniques for needlepoint, as well as some needlepoint basics. So she is sharing a sneak peek with us here today. But if you want to learn more, definitely check out her live stream presentation this weekend on the Great Bead Extravaganza Facebook page and or the Great Bead Extravaganza YouTube channel. Also consider joining the Great Bead Extravaganza Facebook group for additional content. Make sure to support Lauren and the Needlepoint Clubhouse by following her on Instagram. And that's Sequin Lala Stitches.
That's right, Sequin Lala Stitches.
Awesome. So we've got that linked in the description of this video if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Facebook. And if you're joining us on Instagram, you can find Lauren's tag in some of our most recent posts. So make sure to go ahead and follow Lauren, follow the Needlepoint Clubhouse, and consider making a purchase with them this weekend. Make sure to check out all the other presentations that we have this weekend for the Great Bead Extravaganza. We've got this schedule. We've got a link to the schedule posted in the description of this video. We also have posted the schedule to our Instagram and Facebook. The schedule's posted everywhere when it comes to the Great Bead Extravaganza. So anywhere where you're looking to check it out, you'll see the schedule. Lauren, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our viewers today?
No, I was going to say, if you guys get a kit before the presentation or after, put in the comments if you are a lefty or a righty, and I can put like how to actually needlepoint instructions in there as well if you're brand new to stitching. So you just do it a little bit differently if you're a lefty or a righty. But other than that, I'm happy to help anyone who's new to needlepoint give it a shot too. And we host a free class the first Saturday of every month. If you want to learn just like the basic needlepoint stitches, that you can come and do that too. So
Lauren, is that an in-person class at the store?
Yes, that is in person at the clubhouse. Yeah, we don't do that one virtually, but yes, there are a lot of really good resources online on YouTube and different people that you can learn, like how to basket weave or a tent stitch is sort of like our main stitch that you can find on YouTube of how to do that as well.
Awesome. So I caught a glimpse of what I believe you guys call the finishing forecast.
Yeah.
And that's so cool. If you guys are looking to check out more and just kind of get a general overview of some of the projects that people do with needlepoint, because for me and for Becky, you know, this is new. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure a lot of you are in that same position where you've not really seen much and what's possible with needlepoint. So Lauren, would you mind sharing the information about how they can catch your finishing forecasts?
Yeah, so if you follow STL Needlepoint on Instagram, we do it every Tuesday morning at 9:45 Central. And basically what we do is we show the finishes that have come back that week. So We are one of the highest volume needlepoint stores in the country in terms of finishing. We get a lot of finishing from all over the place, not just St. Louis. The clubhouse is located in St. Louis and Kirkwood, but basically kind of how I just showed you. Like, so someone will send us their canvas that they've stitched, and we turn it into something even more adorable, take it to the next level. So every Tuesday, 9:45, we show all the different fun finishes that have come back that week. So it's pretty fun. It does give you a lot of fun ideas of what you can do. That's for sure.
Awesome. So when you say finishing, basically kind of in layman's terms, what's happening is they're sending you what they've stitched just on the canvas, and your team is assembling it into a finished product, whatever that product might be. So a stocking or 3D project, a belt, a bag.
Christmas ornament. Yeah, we do a lot of bags, a lot of Christmas ornaments, belts. Like for instance, like this, right? So this is like a little Halloween poison bottle. I should put on my hand cam here. But so I've finished stitching this, and so now we're gonna finish it into like a box edge stand up, right? So into something that like stands up, has a little bit of depth to it, that you can set on like your mantle or a coffee table or something. So people send us their like finished canvases like this, and then we turn them into whatever their final end game is supposed to be.
That is so cool.
It is cool.
It makes it so accessible too to people who want to try the hobby but might not necessarily need to invest right away in some of the additional tools and materials needed to create a professional looking finished product. So I think it's great that you are able to provide that service.
Yeah, and there's a lot of self-finishing things too. Like I mentioned, the luggage tag or the wallets are just 2 I grabbed that fit that 2x3 size thing I stitched. But there's a million different, like we call self-finishing things that you don't have to wait or do yourself, because finishing, depending on what it is, like some finishing is relatively simple, it's just time consuming, but you do need a lot of supplies, and some is really difficult. So there's kind of, depending on what you want, you can dabble in it yourself for sure, and there's great classes on how to do that too. But there's also these awesome self-finishing things, or again, you send it to a shop and we do the rest. So it's kind of fun.
That's so cool. Zakaya says, acknowledging the lady next to you, Abby, how are you? So Becky, how are you today?
I'm great.
Thanks for asking, Zakaya.
Yeah, I'm absorbing all kinds of information. I love it.
There's all kinds of fun things.
Yeah. Did you have any questions for Lauren?
Do people paint their own designs on a blank canvas?
They do a lot. Yeah, that's why we put kind of a blank canvas in our little kit, because not only could you just do a monogram or something small if you wanted to, but people paint their own designs all the time.
I think,
yeah, and it's pretty fun. There's a couple of things to like note if you want to do that. So if you look at, where did my little hat? Here we go. On my screen here. So if you look at that, I don't know if you can see, but each stitch is a color. This heart is a very defined shape. So we call that stitch painted. So like, exactly where to place every single stitch. Then there's some things that are not stitch painted that are more, we call sort of like artistly painted. So if you wanted to paint like a landscape scene or something that had a lot of shading, like for instance, let me grab something right here. For instance, this butterfly canvas, right? So this has a lot of shading. This is still stitch painted, but sometimes these fade out more and you kind of can't tell which stitch is supposed to be light green and which stitch is supposed to be dark green. So a lot of people, when they first start painting their own canvases, they're not necessarily stitch painting, but it doesn't really matter. If you're painting it for yourself to stitch, like you can figure out what you wanted, you know what I mean? And so that's a great way to do it, and cost-effective way to do it too. And really the paint that they use is like acrylic paint that you can get at Michael's Hobby kind of craft store. Yeah. And it's usually just watered down a little bit. But it's just your acrylic paint you can get almost anywhere.
I'm a gel print artist, and I would put the canvas on the gel plate and pick up the painting that way and then stitch over that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun, especially if you are like a creative person, like, which I'm sure all of you guys watching are, because you're doing a variety of things. Like I said, my mom's an artist, and my mom has painted me a ton of canvases. Like she'll get an idea and paint it on canvas and ask me to stitch it. So you absolutely can do that for sure.
That's so cool.
Neat.
Well, thank you so much, Lauren. This was awesome. Before we sign off, I would just like to give the audience a chance to ask any questions that they might have. And while we are waiting for that comment delay to come through, Lauren, would you like to tell the folks watching everywhere they can find you one more time?
Sure. You can find me mostly on Instagram. So I am Sequin Lala Stitches on Instagram. That's me personally. And then if you follow STL Needlepoint, that is Needlepoint Clubhouse is Instagram. And that's where we do that finishing forecast live that Abby mentioned. We do a lot of fun things. The owner of my shop's name is Megan. So the two of us are kind of partners in crime. We like to get on Instagram and cause a little bit of trouble, but yeah, you can follow us there to get most of like our content and fun things we're doing and stuff like that.
Awesome. Very cool. And so in order to watch Lauren's presentation, just make sure that you are either subscribed to the Great Bead Extravaganza on YouTube or following the Great Bead Extravaganza page on Facebook. You can make sure to join the Facebook group for additional content. And we are so excited to get to create with all of you guys this weekend. The Great Bead Extravaganza is such a fun, exciting time. And we are so honored to have Lauren here with us. I love how we are able to use these techniques that we know and love and kind of spread them out over multiple different kinds of arts and crafts and hobbies. I just think that there's something so special, exciting, inspirational, even whenever we kind of start to think out of the box and when we all come together and share in that creativity. So thank you so much to Lauren for being here with us this weekend. And guys in chat, please make sure to support Lauren and the Needlepoint Clubhouse, either with follows and interactions on their posts. Make sure to watch the stream. But also, if you're able to and interested, make sure to pick up one of the kits that we've linked in the description of this video and in chat. There's a lot of great products that Lauren is featuring from the Needlepoint Clubhouse.
Well, I'm honored to be a part of it. I'm so excited. I heard about Abby's shop, the Bead Place, and I had to go over there, and I just geeked out because you guys have a lot of the seed beads that we use in different sizes, which is exciting because needle pointers, there's a lot of things you can use, but primarily use size 14, 15 and size 11 seed beads. But so you had some of that good stuff. We had all kinds of different stuff in there that I was like, I can use this and this, that, and the other way. So I literally was like a kid in a candy shop. And as a matter of fact, my husband, we were in the area for a family thing. And so he just came with me and he's like, are you in heaven? I'm like, yes, I am. This is my heaven. This is amazing. So it is really fun to like you said, like use these kind of creative instincts in different ways and in different mediums. And there's a lot of crossover, which is really fun too. So I'm hugely honored you guys asked me to be a part of it. And I'm really excited.
Well, thank you. And if I remember correctly, Lauren, you picked up a lot of holiday stuff to implement on your needlepoint designs.
I did. So I think you guys were calling them charms, I think. We call them like doodads around here, but I'm a big Halloween person. I love Halloween stitching. So you guys had a ton of Halloween stuff. So I grabbed like little skeletons and pumpkins and ghosts and candy corn, like the most fun things. And then I grabbed a lot of Christmas stuff too. So like, actually, let me grab this here. So this is like, this is finished being stitched, but I don't know if you can see it. It's going to basically turn into like a big 3D house. But you guys have little Christmas wreaths that like there was one already here, but like stuff you can put on the door, or again little bows and Christmas trees. So I love, like I said, the more glitz and glam, the better. I'm like a more is more kind of person, and you guys had the most fun things to take it over the top. So I loved it.
Well, thank you. And I'm excited to see what our viewers are going to be able to come up with the techniques that you will be teaching them this weekend.
Yeah.
That crossover crafting, these kinds of events or these kinds of hobbies just kind of lend themselves to
they play well
blurring
together.
the lines. So
because I'm sure you guys, in fact, I saw in your shop you had something like that was like kind of peyote beaded with the seed beads, which that is something I'm dying to learn. And one of my best friend's mom knows how to do it and teaches it. So like if you already have some of those skills, this will be, no sweat.
Well, hey, Lauren, did you know we're teaching peyote during our bead extravaganza presentation?
Well, I need to tune in.
It'll get you started.
I know she actually gave me a little mini lesson yesterday. They were making these like scissor holders that like stood on the table. They were so cool. I was like, immediately show me what's happening. So I'm excited to get into that too.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Lauren. And thank you everyone watching in chat. We appreciate this so much. Like I said, go show Lauren some love, show the Needlepoint Clubhouse some love on Instagram, subscribe to Lauren's YouTube channel, and make sure to mark your calendars for not only Lauren's presentation this Sunday, but everyone's presentation. We'll see you Friday night at the preview party. And then we will be just watching phones in our hands or streams cast to the TV all weekend. So thanks so much, everybody. And thanks, Lauren, for being here with us today.
Thanks you guys for having me.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.